Ladies and gentlemen, today we gather not just to celebrate the accomplishments of women, but to acknowledge the unstoppable force they represent in shaping a brighter, more inclusive, and progressive future. Throughout history, women have been at the heart of revolutions, innovations, and transformations. Yet often, their courage has been overlooked, their brilliance underestimated, and their strength taken for granted. But no longer. We are living in a time when women are not waiting for the world to catch up. They are leading the way forward. Let us reflect on four powerful truths that highlight how women are redefining leadership and carving a path toward a better tomorrow. Number one, breaking barriers and redefining leadership. For centuries, leadership was narrowly defined, often reserved for a specific image, typically male, authoritative, and dominant. But as the world continues to evolve, so too does our understanding of what it truly means to lead. Today, women across the globe are shattering long-standing barriers and boldly redefining leadership in their own image, one of compassion, resilience, collaboration, and vision. This shift is not just inspiring, it's necessary for building a more inclusive, balanced, and empowered world. Breaking barriers is never easy. It demands courage in the face of criticism, determination despite systemic opposition, and the willingness to keep going when doors are slammed shut. Women who have dared to lead know this all too well. They have been told to sit down when they stood up, to stay quiet when they spoke out, and to wait their turn when they were ready to rise. But the tides are turning. Those voices once silenced are now leading movements, building businesses, heading governments, and changing the narrative. And through it all, they are teaching the world that leadership is not about control or command, it's about influence, service, and the courage to do what's right even when it's not easy. Leadership among women today is more inclusive than ever. It is being shaped not just by those in power, but by those who empower others. A woman running a company is leading. So is the woman running a household. A teacher shaping young minds, a doctor saving lives, a community organizer rallying for justice, and a teenager starting an environmental campaign. All are leaders in their own right. The power of female leadership is no longer confined to titles or positions. It's measured by impact, by authenticity, and by the positive change it creates. One of the most powerful ways women are redefining leadership is through empathy. While traditional leadership models often emphasize strength as stoicism or detachment, women have shown that emotional intelligence is a strength, not a weakness. Understanding people, listening deeply, and leading with heart are no longer seen as soft skills. They are the skills that build trust, loyalty, and collaboration. A woman who leads with empathy creates spaces where people feel seen and heard, and in doing so, fosters a culture of respect and inclusion. This shift towards more emotionally intelligent leadership is not just benefiting organizations, it's transforming communities and healing divides. Women are also proving that resilience is one of the most formidable forms of leadership. Many women have had to lead without permission, stepping into roles out of necessity, not ambition. They've had to work twice as hard to be taken half as seriously. They've endured bias, scrutiny, and the pressure to constantly prove themselves. And yet, they persist. This resilience is not born from privilege, but from pain, struggle, and the unshakable belief that things can, and must, be better. It's the kind of strength that doesn't just overcome obstacles, but uses them as fuel for transformation. Every barrier broken becomes a bridge for someone else to cross. As more women take their place in leadership, they are also rewriting the rules. They are showing that collaboration trumps competition, that lifting others up does not diminish your own light, and that power can be shared, not hoarded. In boardrooms, classrooms, and legislative halls, women are making room for more voices, more perspectives, and more possibilities. They understand that true leadership isn't about standing at the top alone. It's about bringing others with you. They are not content with being the first. They want to make sure they're not the last. What's remarkable is that this redefinition of leadership is not just happening in progressive urban centers. It's happening in villages, in war zones, in places where women were once told they had no voice. Whether fighting for education, clean water, healthcare, or human rights, women are rising from every corner of the world and proving that leadership knows no boundaries. Their courage is contagious. When one woman breaks through, she lights a path for countless others. That ripple effect is powerful. It changes families, reshapes communities, and sets new standards for generations to come. Leadership by women is also deeply tied to purpose. So many women lead not for power, but for change. They are driven by causes greater than themselves, by the desire to leave the world better than they found it. They lead to correct injustice, to protect the vulnerable, to elevate the overlooked. Their leadership is rooted in service, and it's this selflessness that makes it transformative. A woman who leads with purpose becomes unstoppable, not because she seeks recognition, but because she seeks results that matter. Yet even with all this progress, there is still work to be done. Women are still underrepresented in politics, in executive roles, in tech, and in many fields that shape the future. The barriers may be fewer, but they are not gone. There are still glass ceilings, wage gaps, and double standards. There are still battles to fight for equal rights, equal pay, and equal respect. But what's different now is that women are no longer waiting for change. They are leading it. They are not asking for a seat at the table. They are building their own. To watch a woman break a barrier is to witness history in motion, and to support her, to cheer her on, to stand beside her. That is to be part of the future. The world needs more of this, more women leading unapologetically, more allies championing their rise, more spaces where leadership is not defined by gender, but by grit, vision, and humanity. So as we look ahead, let us remember that every time a woman breaks a barrier, she breaks it not just for herself, but for all of us. Every time she redefines leadership, she redefines what's possible. And in doing so, she shapes a future that is brighter, bolder, and more just. This is not just a moment in history, it is a movement, and it is being led by women who dare to lead differently, who lead with heart, and who lead the way forward. Number 2, empowering the next generation, is one of the most profound and lasting ways women are shaping a brighter future. It goes beyond personal achievement or professional success. It's about planting seeds of courage, confidence, and possibility in the minds and hearts of those who come after. When a woman rises, she carries more than just her own story. She carries the hopes of every young girl who dreams of becoming more. Her journey becomes a roadmap. Her voice becomes an echo that tells others, "You can too." The power of a role model cannot be overstated. For so long, women looked up and saw few reflections of themselves in places of power. But today, more women are stepping into visibility, breaking barriers, and proving that there is no one way to lead, to succeed, or to thrive. This visibility is transformative. When a girl sees someone who looks like her running a business, leading a nation, writing books, building technology, or challenging injustice, something shifts inside her. She begins to believe that she too belongs in those spaces. Representation is not just symbolic, it's empowering. It tells the next generation that their dreams are not foolish, their voices are not too loud, and their presence is not too much. Empowerment also comes through intentional mentoring and teaching. Women around the world are pouring their wisdom into others, not hoarding it for themselves. They are sharing their lessons, their struggles, and their triumphs to guide those who are just beginning. Whether it's a formal mentorship program or a quiet conversation at a kitchen table, the act of passing on knowledge is powerful. It's a gesture that says, "I believe in you." And sometimes belief is all someone needs to take their first brave step. A single word of encouragement at the right time can change the course of a life. Mothers play a critical role in this cycle of empowerment. In their everyday words and actions, they model strength, compassion, and perseverance. They show their children what it means to face adversity with grace and to rise after falling. When a mother encourages her daughter to speak up, to dream big, or to try again, she is sowing the seeds of resilience. When she teaches her son to respect women, to value equality, and to lead with kindness, she is shaping a better world for everyone. The influence of a nurturing, empowering mother ripples far beyond her home. It touches communities and future generations. Teachers, too, are powerful agents of change. In classrooms across the globe, women are lighting the fires of curiosity, confidence, and critical thinking. They are not just teaching subjects, they are shaping futures. Every time they affirm a student's potential, push them to go further, or create a safe space for expression, they are doing the quiet but essential work of empowerment. These educators may never fully see the fruits of their labor, but their impact is lifelong. They remind every young mind that knowledge is power, and that their voice matters. But empowerment isn't just about lifting up those who are already on the path, it's also about reaching those who are left behind, ignored, or forgotten. In many parts of the world, girls are still denied basic education, autonomy, and opportunity. Women leaders and activists are fighting fiercely to change that. They are building schools, creating scholarships, writing policies, and challenging cultural norms to ensure that every girl, regardless of where she's born, has a chance to thrive. Their work is not easy, and it is often met with resistance. But their commitment is unwavering, because they know that every child empowered today becomes a leader of tomorrow. Empowering the next generation also means encouraging them to think differently. It means teaching them to question systems that are unjust, to stand up for what's right, and to believe in their own capacity to create change. Women are leading this shift by modeling what it looks like to challenge the status quo. They are showing that leadership is not about fitting into old molds, but about breaking them. They are teaching young people to value authenticity over approval, and to build lives aligned with purpose rather than expectation. These lessons are not taught in textbooks, they are lived out through example. Another powerful aspect of empowering the next generation is vulnerability. When women share their stories, not just the highlights but the struggles, the doubts, the failures, they give permission for others to be human. They show that success is not a straight line, and that it's okay to fall apart before rising stronger. In doing so, they normalize resilience, they redefine strength, and they make space for others to grow without shame. This openness breaks down unrealistic ideals and encourages honest self-reflection. It helps the next generation understand that they don't have to be perfect to be powerful. Technology and social media have also become tools of empowerment, especially for younger generations. Women are using these platforms to educate, inspire, and connect. They are sharing resources, amplifying voices, and building communities that foster growth and solidarity. Through a simple post, a video, or a podcast, a woman can reach millions and spark a movement. These digital spaces are shaping culture, and women are making sure that the messages reaching young people are filled with hope, courage, and truth. Empowerment in the digital age means meeting the next generation where they are and using every available tool to pour light into their lives. Perhaps most importantly, empowering the next generation is an act of legacy. It's about recognizing that our actions today shape the world our children will inherit. It's about choosing to invest not just in success, but in significance. Women who empower others are legacy builders. They are not just climbing. They are paving the way, removing obstacles, and leaving behind footprints that others can follow. They are creating a world where every child can believe in themselves, pursue their purpose, and rise to their full potential. This work may not always be glamorous or recognized. It happens in quiet corners, in hard conversations, in moments of doubt and hope. But it matters deeply, because every time a woman lifts another, she lifts us all. And every time the next generation rises, stronger and more empowered, the world becomes a little more beautiful, a little more just, and a lot more hopeful. Empowering the next generation is not a trend, it is a responsibility. It is a calling, and women everywhere are answering it with fierce love, unwavering commitment, and a vision that stretches far beyond themselves. The future will not simply happen, it will be shaped. And thanks to the women who dare to empower others, it will be shaped by bold hearts, brilliant minds, and hands determined to build a better world. Number 3. Driving change through compassion and collaboration. Change has always been a constant force in the evolution of humanity, but the way change is created has shifted. For a long time, change was often driven by power, by domination, or by confrontation. But now, more than ever, the world is seeing a new kind of transformation, one that is rooted in compassion and powered by collaboration. At the forefront of this shift are women who are proving that meaningful, sustainable change does not require aggression or control. It requires understanding, empathy, and the courage to bring people together rather than tear them apart. Compassion is often mistaken for weakness, but in truth, it is one of the most powerful forces on earth. Compassion allows people to connect deeply with others, to see beyond their own experiences, and to act not just out of self-interest, but out of care for the greater good. Women have long led with compassion, often because they have lived through hardship, exclusion, or injustice themselves. They know what it feels like to be unheard, to be overlooked, or to carry the weight of the world in silence. That lived experience becomes fuel, not for resentment, but for change. When women step into leadership with compassion as their compass, they begin to create environments where people feel safe, seen, and supported. They listen not just to respond, but to truly understand. They lead with the heart, creating workplaces, communities, and movements where collaboration flourishes. Instead of competing for power, they seek to share it. Instead of silencing voices, they amplify them. This approach to leadership doesn't just feel good, it works. It builds trust, loyalty, and a collective sense of purpose that moves people forward together. Collaboration is the natural partner of compassion. Where compassion sees and values others, collaboration invites them in. It says, let's build this together. Women are masterful collaborators, often because they've had to be. In spaces where they were underrepresented or undervalued, they learned the power of forming alliances, of building networks, and of lifting each other up. Collaboration isn't about who's in charge. It's about what can be achieved when everyone brings their strengths to the table. And when women lead collaboratively, they don't just produce better outcomes. They create cultures of inclusion, equity, and shared success. In communities all around the world, women are driving change by bringing people together around shared goals. They are leading grassroots movements for clean water, education, healthcare, and justice. They are forming cooperatives, support groups, and nonprofits. They are building businesses that prioritize people over profit and creating policies that reflect lived realities instead of distant ideals. These changes may begin small, but their impact is profound. Because they are rooted in genuine care for others, they are lasting. They don't tear down just to rebuild. They heal, they restore, and they elevate. One of the most remarkable aspects of compassionate and collaborative change is that it multiplies. When one person leads this way, others begin to follow. Compassion creates more compassion. Collaboration inspires more collaboration. A single act of empathy can spark a chain reaction. A shared victory can light a fire of unity. Women who drive change in this way often don't seek credit. They seek connection. And in doing so, they ignite movements that grow far beyond themselves. Driving change through compassion also means recognizing that everyone's voice matters. It means making room at the table for those who have been excluded. Women are deeply aware of the importance of this, having so often been left out themselves. They understand the importance of lifting marginalized voices, of asking, who's not in this conversation, and then making sure those people are invited in. They fight not just for themselves, but for others, for the invisible, the vulnerable, the forgotten. This inclusive approach to change ensures that no one is left behind and that progress is truly shared. In professional settings, women are also changing the way teams operate. Instead of top-down management, they are fostering environments of mutual respect and open communication. Instead of rigid hierarchies, they are encouraging shared leadership and team-driven decision-making. They prioritize emotional wellness, work-life balance, and psychological safety. These choices are not just good for morale. They lead to innovation, creativity, and resilience. Teams led by compassion and collaboration don't just perform. They thrive. This way of driving change is also deeply sustainable. Where change driven by force can be temporary and fragile, change driven by compassion is enduring. It's built on trust and mutual respect. It grows from the inside out. Collaborative efforts are harder to dismantle because they are held up by many hands, not just one. Compassionate systems are more resilient because they are human-centered. They adapt, they listen, and they evolve. That's the kind of change the world needs now, deep, lasting, and grounded in humanity. In a global context, women are also leading international efforts with these principles. They are at the forefront of peace negotiations, humanitarian aid, and climate justice. Their approach often centers on healing, not punishment, dialogue, not division. They are proving that compassion is not naive, it is strategic. That collaboration is not soft, it is smart. When women lead these efforts, they bring communities and nations together in ways that military power or economic dominance never could. They build coalitions, forge partnerships, and create shared visions for a better world. Driving change through compassion and collaboration also transforms the person doing it. It requires humility, vulnerability, and the willingness to learn. It invites reflection, growth, and deeper understanding. It teaches that leadership is not about being the loudest voice, but the one who listens the most. That power is not about control, but about empowering others. This kind of leadership is not just effective, it is fulfilling. It allows people to lead with authenticity, to work in alignment with their values, and to find joy in the progress of others. The beauty of this approach is that anyone can do it. You don't need a title, a degree, or a spotlight. All you need is the willingness to care and the courage to act. Whether it's helping a neighbor, mentoring a student, leading a project, or standing up for justice, every compassionate and collaborative action matters. Every choice to build rather than break, to include rather than exclude, to love rather than fear, moves us forward. Women all over the world are showing us what this kind of leadership looks like. They are changing the world not through dominance, but through grace. Not through fear, but through love, and not alone, but together. Their strength lies not in overpowering others, but in uplifting them. Their impact is not limited to what they achieve. It expands through what they inspire. The future belongs to those who lead with heart, and through compassion and collaboration, women are showing us all how to create that future. One connection, one conversation, one courageous act at a time. Number 4. Turning challenges into catalysts for change. Every challenge carries with it the potential to become a catalyst for something greater. While hardship can often feel like an ending, it is more often a beginning, an opportunity to awaken dormant strength, uncover hidden purpose, and spark transformation. Women around the world are living examples of this truth. They face countless challenges, personal, societal, emotional, and structural. But time and again, they take those struggles and use them as stepping stones toward growth, empowerment, and change. Rather than allowing adversity to define them, they allow it to refine them. They do not just survive their trials. They use them to rise stronger, more aware, and more determined to make an impact. Life rarely unfolds without obstacles. Whether it's facing gender bias in the workplace, struggling with financial hardship, dealing with heartbreak, or fighting against deeply rooted systems of inequality, women have had to learn how to navigate and endure. But what separates those who remain stuck from those who transform their pain into power is mindset. It is the ability to look at a difficult situation and ask not just, "Why is this happening to me?" but instead, "What can this teach me?" That shift in perspective turns a closed door into a new direction. It transforms moments of despair into defining moments of clarity and courage. The process of turning challenges into catalysts for change often begins in silence. It starts with the pain no one sees, the quiet moments of struggle that test one's inner resolve. In those moments, many women learn the value of resilience. They discover that even when everything around them is uncertain, they still have control over how they respond. This resilience isn't always loud or visible. Sometimes it's just the choice to keep going, to get out of bed, to try again, to hope. Each small act of perseverance becomes a brick in the foundation of something new. Women who have faced and overcome challenges often become powerful voices for others. Their stories inspire not because they are perfect, but because they are real. When a woman shares her experience of rising from difficulty, she does more than tell her story. She gives others permission to do the same. Her honesty becomes a light for those still walking through darkness. Her healing becomes a roadmap for those just beginning. And in this way, individual challenges become collective breakthroughs. What's even more remarkable is how many women go on to create change not just for themselves, but for their communities. A woman who was denied education may go on to build a school. One who faced discrimination in the workplace may become a leader advocating for equity and representation. A survivor of abuse may create a shelter or speak out to change laws. These acts of transformation are not random. They are born from deep pain and the decision to turn that pain into purpose. The very things that once threatened to break them become the fuel for their greatest contributions. This kind of transformation requires incredible courage. It takes bravery to face a challenge head-on, especially when the world expects silence or surrender. But women are challenging those expectations. They are refusing to be defined by what happened to them. Instead, they are using those experiences to shape who they become and what they stand for. This courage is contagious. When one woman chooses to rise, she inspires others to believe they can too. The strength that comes from turning challenges into catalysts for change is not just emotional, it is deeply practical. It leads to innovation, creativity, and leadership. Many of the most successful women in business, activism, art, and politics began with a problem that needed solving. Their solutions came not from textbooks, but from lived experience. They knew the pain of being unheard, overlooked, or underestimated, and they used that knowledge to build better systems, stronger communities, and more compassionate solutions. They knew the flaws because they had lived them, and that made them the perfect ones to fix them. Transformation through challenge also brings depth. It deepens empathy, strengthens purpose, and clarifies values. A woman who has struggled becomes more attuned to the struggles of others. She leads not with arrogance, but with humility. She understands that real change isn't about personal gain, it's about lifting others as she climbs. Her work is not just for recognition, it is rooted in service. And because of this, the impact of her actions ripples far beyond herself. It's important to acknowledge that turning challenges into catalysts doesn't mean pretending pain doesn't exist or forcing positivity in every situation. True transformation begins by honoring the struggle, by feeling the emotions, and by giving yourself the space to heal. It's okay to fall apart for a while. It's okay to grieve, to question, to sit in the discomfort. But then slowly comes the shift, the moment when you decide that this pain will not be the end of your story. That's where change begins, not in denying the challenge, but in deciding how it will shape you. Support also plays a crucial role in this transformation. Women who uplift each other, who share their wisdom, who stand together in solidarity, create environments where change is not just possible, but inevitable. Sisterhood, mentorship, friendship, and shared community are essential in this process. When women support women, something powerful happens. They create a collective strength that can move mountains. They show each other what's possible, and they walk together through the fires of transformation. As more women rise from their challenges and create change, they are redefining what leadership looks like. Leadership is no longer about status or perfection. It's about authenticity, purpose, and the willingness to use your journey to help others. A woman who leads from experience leads with compassion. She understands the weight of a struggle, and she leads not with judgment but with open arms. Her leadership is not distant. It's rooted in shared humanity. And that kind of leadership is exactly what the world needs more of. The truth is, challenges will always exist. Life is unpredictable, and hardship is inevitable. But within every challenge lies a choice, to let it diminish you or to let it develop you. Women everywhere are making that choice to take their struggles and use them as stepping stones, not stumbling blocks. They are showing the world that the worst of times can give birth to the best in us, that from the ashes of broken dreams, new visions can rise, that pain, when faced with courage and intention, can become purpose. Turning challenges into catalysts for change is not just a personal victory. It is a gift to the world. It proves that light can be born from darkness, that strength can grow from struggle, and that hope can rise from despair. Women who choose this path are not only changing their own lives, they are changing the world. One challenge at a time, one act of courage at a time, they are building a future that is stronger, wiser, and more beautifully human. So to every woman listening, know this: you are not just a part of the future, you are its creator. Your voice matters. Your dreams are valid. Your leadership is essential. Stand tall, speak boldly, and keep moving forward. Because the future isn't something we wait for, it's something we build. And you, without question, are leading the way. God bless you.